of the deaths are horrifying and, if true, constitute a fundamental breach of the law by those sworn to uphold it. GFJ is calling on the security forces to exercise the greatest possible respect for the lives and rights of all persons, consistent with the discharge of their duties. The group also said all residents who are caught in security force operations and are in situations of lockdown must be afforded access to food, water, medical attention, and other supplies. The group also said treatment of casualties must recognize the right to medical attention and the human dignity of the deceased.
There remained a shortage of medical staff at the Kingston Public Hospital today. Yesterday, Health Minister Ronnie Spencer announced that only half the medical team showed up for work. Today, checks with the hospital revealed that about 70% reported for duty. Meanwhile, Mr. Spencer and other members of the Health Ministry toured the hospitals today. Only the Jamaica Information Service was invited. During the government agency's interview, Mr. Spencer thanked the members of staff for their hard work throughout the crisis.
Jamaica owe these people at Victoria Jubilee, Kingston Public Hospital, a debt of gratitude. They were the saving grace in all this. They have been more than professional, and it just shows that despite all the many problems we have, the staff can come together when it's important. And I just want to express my profound gratitude and thanks to the staff.
Meanwhile, Director of Emergency Services in the Ministry, Marion Bullock-Ducasse, told the GIS that plans are being put in place to help members of the public who cannot make it to the hospital because of the volatile situation in parts of the city.
For those in the primary care setting with their chronic diseases, we have had 9 health centers open in Kingston and St. Andrew. And as the situation is improving, more health centers will also be open. We're also putting together teams that will go into affected communities that will serve the people there. So those are our immediate plans.
3 Miles has been transformed into a market. Vendors who normally sell in Coronation Market migrated to that location today, causing traffic problems as shoppers desperate for food turned out to support them. Krista Samuels has more.
Traffic was almost at a standstill for most of the day in the 3 Miles area of St. Andrew, and this was the reason. The area was transformed into a market district for the displaced vendors from Coronation Market downtown. Coronation is in the heart of the conflict zone and was even set on fire this week as gunmen took on the state in West Kingston. Desperate to earn a livelihood and with many of their usual customers running out of food, the vendors decided to take over the 3 Miles area near the Hunts Bay police station.
A lot of the vendors who used to be at the Coronation Market era are presently in the 3 Miles area now selling their wares, and we understand that. However, there's concern about the massive congestion, especially traffic and human congestion in that area now, and it is creating a nightmare for the police in St. Andrew South.
The situation here is untenable. The traffic has backed up all the way to 6 Miles, all the way to halfway 3. And in some cases, the causeway back to the toll plaza. As you can see for yourself, vehicles are parked in the median. Just look, vehicles are parked in the median. The police are kept busy.
The vendors have literally set up shop all over the streets, on the bus sheds, anywhere they think they can attract buyers. Anywhere except the nearby DC Tavares Market, which is where the police and city authorities want them to go.
No police around there, I be a thief around there. You see, them a send around there. When we sell the people them your money, them go with it. We don't have no money for pay the people them. We better we sell righteous and a righteous, so we are saying.
It is being cleaned. We're putting in portable sanitary conveniences. Our maintenance people are there now to look to see what needs to be done. Electrically, there are lights in there now even as we speak. But we want to make sure that it's properly lit.
The police, I can assure, will provide 24-hour protection, not only for the vendors, but for the people who want to come there to buy. Because we know that area is a challenging area, and we have had some problems there earlier.
The vendors have been instructed to move into the DC Tavares Market tomorrow. Krista Samuels, TVJ News.
We return to an earlier story. The government remains mum on claims made by U.S. news network ABC about a possible deal being brokered for the surrender of Christopher Dudus Cook. In a story published today, the network said U.S. law enforcement officials have put air wing pilots from the Drug Enforcement Agency on alert pending the outcome of negotiations between the alleged drug lord and the U.S. government. Janice Budd reports.
The claim is being made by the same authors of the last controversial ABC News report, Richard Esposito and Mark Schoen. The reporters claim their information is that the DEA is in wait-and-see mode as to whether coke will be brought out of hiding in handcuffs or in a body bag. The ABC report further alleges that U.S. Marshals, DEA agents, and federal prosecutors are working hand in hand with senior Jamaican military and police officials in an effort to effect a surrender and extradition of coke wanted on federal drug and firearms charges to the United States. Yesterday, the U.S. State Department denied knowledge of an earlier ABC News report that claimed links between top-tier government officials and the gang lord. Prime Minister Golding has expressed outrage at the report, claiming it was part of a conspiracy to undermine his government. Janice Budd, TVJ News.
Director of Safety and Security at the University of Technology, Robert Finzi-Smith, has described the situation in Tivoli Gardens as urban guerrilla warfare. Speaking on our current affairs program, All Angles, last night, the security analyst said the Tivoli Gardens community had been set up as a battlefield. Keneal Gale reports.
Robert Finzi-Smith said the type of battle that was waged in Tivoli Gardens between criminals and the security forces over the past few days definitely has the characteristics of a guerrilla war.
We do not have two combatants who are in uniform. We don't be able to say, okay, these are the soldiers, they're in uniform, these are the guys who are deciding they're going to give them a battle and they're in uniform. Everybody's just like a civilian. All I really have to do to transfer myself from being a combatant to a civilian is simply put down the rifle and walk away. How do you know it's me? I can blend easy into the society. You have people who will be probably shooting at you wearing slippers and shorts. So you don't have a way of saying, okay, that is a person because he's wearing red, white, and blue, or he's wearing camouflage. They come in the basic layout of a civilian.
Mr. Smith said with the constant calls by the security forces for people to leave the area, it was evident that they were preparing an unprecedented assault on the West Kingston community. He said Tivoli Gardens had set itself up as a battlefield and was therefore treated as such. Mr. Smith said for years several people have contributed to the nurturing of the inner city monsters that now haunt Jamaica.
People who pontificate now and cry wolf and weep crocodile tears over situations they helped create need now to come and do penance. There are far more dishonest people in jacket and tie in this country than in rags. Far more. And as a matter of fact, the dishonest people in jacket and tie who have caused the problem and are now running around like it belongs below crossroads. You know how much an AK-47 costs? You think a youngster who can't afford a patty, who is now firing one, could have bought it?
Mr. Smith said it's time to pass the plea bargaining law to help in the fight against organized crime. The security analyst suggested that, like other countries, Jamaica should implement laws that have harsher punishments for people who commit crimes across parish boundaries.
The United States has a republic system in which you have federal laws. We don't have to become a republic to have federal laws. We can have state laws. A normal law is I steal a motor car. But if I steal it in Kingston, you catch me in Kingston, it's a normal law. I do 5 years. If I catch me in St. Thomas, I've crossed parish boundaries in order to evade or commit the crime. It now becomes a state law. Why is this significant? Because you do 15 years, 3 times the amount of normal sentences, and you do every single day of it.
Keneal Gale, TVJ News.
The family of the police constable who died on Mountain View Avenue Sunday night is struggling to cope with his untimely death. Constable Jason Davis died in hospital on Monday after the police unit with which he was traveling was ambushed by gunmen in the vicinity of Excelsior High School. Latoya Spence reports.
Saddened, deeply saddened. Words of distress from a close friend of the family of 26-year-old Jason Davis. The young constable's father says when news of the offensive against the Tivoli Gardens community came his way, he called his son to confirm whether he would be part of the operation. He said when Constable Davis told him he was indeed working, he tried his best to ensure that his son was adequately prepared for his duty. But he was not prepared for the devastating news he heard impersonally 2 days later via the media.
When I called him, I said to him, said, Jason, where are you now? And I said to him, say, have your best. And then he said,